Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about what annoys Virgo. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the sun, moon, and ascendant. Anyway, people, first thing off is the first thing I say that can strongly annoy Virgo is just general disorganization, things that are disheveled and clutter. Um, Really, they would not really be that happy if they were on an episode of one of those hoarder shows. But I'll tell you one thing: they probably would be about the best in terms of organizing that kind of disorganization. And because anyway, I mean, anyone that's seen that show Hoarders knows. I mean, those places sometimes are really trashed and very disheveled, to say the least. And anyway. But what Virgo also can be very strongly averse to fantasy and unreality. I think a lot of this has to do with Pisces being their opposite zodiac sign, and Virgo can very well be the workaholic of the zodiac. People that are rather lackadaisical or lethargic can irritate them as well, going back to Pisces again being the opposite sign of Virgo. Virgo can constantly edit people that they see as incorrect or incorrect people, so to speak, because they are just simply so punctilious with details. Pisces, their opposite sign, surely isn't. Pisces is more live and let live. They may often overlook transgressions and flaws, unlike Virgo. Now, Pisces is more about the whole picture, while Virgo can often agonize over minuscule and minute details. I mean, don't get me wrong, almost everybody, I would say, despises nauseating odors, but Virgo especially. Virgo can often epitomize cleanliness, as this is the sign that corresponds with hygiene and cleanliness. I mean, if the compression, and also with details as well, I mean, if the compression ratio on your vehicle is slightly different than it was the day before, Virgo will likely let you know about it, at least more so on average as opposed to the other zodiac signs. Now, also, another thing that may strongly annoy Virgo is when, I mean, they could become appalled by a pretentious fop or a coxcombical person. I mean, keep in mind, a lot of that has to do, I think, with Leo often falling on the 12th house cusp for Virgo in a solar or natal chart. I mean, Virgo, I mean, the thing that can annoy them as well strongly can be arrogance, egotistical behavior, and conceitedness. Again, that's the Leo often falling on the 12th house cusp in a solar natal chart for Virgo. And also because of that, I mean, Virgo can really strongly be averse to extravagance. And the thing about this too is that Leo, of all the zodiac signs, I mean, is a sign that's most difficult living within their own income. And again, going back to Virgo being very strongly averse to extravagance, and again, Leo often falling on the 12th house cusp of the solar natal chart for Virgo. Virgo is the kind of person that can often work perfunctorily to put things in order, and in a relationship, I mean, Virgo may often be the one that organizes Pisces clutter if they are involved with Pisces in that relationship, and often they can be, because I mean, of course, Virgo and Pisces can be compatible in a romantic or marriage significant other situation. It's just that they're incompatible, of course, if it's a platonic friendship. So anyway, another thing I think that strongly can annoy Virgo is really sometimes not having something to complain about. I mean, Virgo is I mean, often they are the ones that really can almost be what I would consider nearly compulsive complainers. They always want to have something to analyze, but I think they really, whether they always realize it or not, they often want something that they can criticize, I think, as well. And the thing about Virgo, too, I think that can strongly annoy and exasperate the sign is when people are not simply that aren't punctual and reliable. I mean, Virgo is often on time for things. The opposite sign, Pisces, unfortunately, isn't. And one time it was funny. I had a sun and moon, a friend that worked with me at a retail store, and his sun and moon were in Pisces. And one time, the manager of the store inquired with him, well, why can't you be on time, or something to that effect. And later on, the friend with the Pisces sun and moon, went on to tell me that he had to have a bowl of cereal. So I mean, a lot of times that sums up more the Pisces nature. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's a lot of Pisces people that are very earnest, industrious, and hardworking, and work consistent job and everything. But on average, Virgo is really more, I think, about having that stronger work ethic, and really about being more timely and punctual and reliable, as opposed to Pisces. Now, also, I think another thing that can, where Virgo, what can really annoy and exasperate them, I think, are just overly loud, vociferous, and boisterous people. And I think, again, this goes back to Leo again, often falling on that 12th house cusp in a solar natal chart for Virgo. And really, Leos can really be like party animals, but Virgo, not so much. Virgo can become annoyed and irritated if someone tries to get them to be more gregarious and extroverted. Virgo is often very shy. You look at Virgo too, and the thing about it is, I mean, they are the ones that are really about, the revisionist history people. They're the ones that seem like they're constantly correcting others. I mean, they're about exactitude and precision and this and that. But the thing about it is, what can annoy and irritate Virgo is when you turn around and flip the script on them, so to speak. They might be what I could see as the quintessential complainer, but in Virgo, in a negative manifestation, as I stated before, can really be like a compulsive complainer, or at least very close to one, at least what I would call it. And the thing about it is, however, if you start criticizing and analyzing them, that is something that can really irritate them. It's kind of like you try to beat them at their own game. And it's like telling Virgo that they don't work laboriously or hard. They're not working hard enough is another thing they could become really annoyed at. I mean, don't get me wrong, anyone of any sign could become agitated at that, but Virgo especially, because they feel, well, many of them feel they're like the best workers, and they often are. I mean, in many instances. Also, another thing that can really annoy them too, I mean, you could tell them that sometimes just to get them to enjoy themselves and to have their fun, and because Virgo, in a real negative manifestation, I hate to say this, but almost like kind of stick in the mud to some degree. They're very, I mean, a lot of them, I mean, Virgo being ruled by Mercury can be somewhat animated. I mean, they do have some qualities where they can show that animation in them, and can be maybe somewhat vivacious, not as much as Gemini, I don't think. But what the thing about Virgo is, sometimes it's hard for them to cut loose and have fun. I had a friend of mine that worked with me one time at the same retail store I was telling you about, with that friend that had the Pisces sun and moon. But this friend of mine had a Virgo ascendant, and the thing about him was, I mean, he was a really nice person, good disposition. Virgo people generally do have very nice, friendly disposition. But the thing about them is, sometimes it's hard to get them out of that work mode and that real serious kind of work mindset that they have, and for them to actually be whimsical and to lighten up. And the thing about it is, we made a joke one time. A friend of mine and me, and interesting, both of us, this other friend of mine and me both have Moon and Gemini, so we have that ability to be somewhat whimsical and make a joke every now and then. And the guy that we were talking to had the Virgo ascendant. was punching out, on the time clock for lunch or whatever. And the friend of mine, the other Gemini moon person, said, "Are you going to leave Eddie," meaning me, "all by himself?" In other words, all by himself to work. And the guy with the Virgo ascendant responded, "Well, I'm hungry and it was getting near my time to go." And he thought the guy was serious. And he found, he joked with him later on, and, told him, "Hey, we were just, he was just messing with you, whatever." But he started to lighten up. But the point I'm making is Virgos sometimes are just, I think they got, so, as far as work goes, even though they're a mutable sign, as far as the work ethic in them, they're very single-minded, and they have that strong focus on that work attitude, and it's hard for them to really show that flippant side, I think, when they're at work. So anyway, they could become annoyed when you try to get them out of that box, so to speak, but sometimes they may need someone too, I think, in a lot of instances. But anyway, going back to what annoys, other things that can annoy Virgo, I think too, opprobrious language, just rude, uncouth, vulgar behavior. I mean, a lot of people can be annoyed and exasperated at that, but Virgo especially, I think, because Virgo often wants to be scrupulous and proper, and they're all about good behavior, more so, I believe, than the other signs on average. And the thing, too, is, and another thing that really... I think, Virgo can strongly emphasize politeness. And they're often the ones that will open the door for someone, cover their mouths when they cough. But however, though, I think what can annoy some people, what could be, even if it doesn't really affect them, it's just something about Virgo that they can often be extremists from a health standpoint. Such as using a paper towel to grab a public restroom door handle, or whether it's excessively washing the hands after shaking someone else's, spraying doorknobs, and whether it's doorknobs, bathroom water faucet knobs with Lysol. They can really be extremists in some instances. There's a lot worse things one can do, but they really sometimes can go a little overboard, I think, with the health precautions. But anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for what I believe strongly annoys the zodiac sign Virgo. And stay tuned next time, where I'll be talking about the things that I think annoy the zodiac sign Libra. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel, but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person astrologically speaking based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.